A lot of people these days do get in trouble with their debts, and the most common way of having that occur, as I mentioned, is people don't prioritize their spending, and they find that their fixed expenses, when those are due at the end of the month, they simply don't have sufficient funds to be able to cover those things that must be paid. So as a result, the things that they then need in the future to eat, to do other things, to buy the necessities, they tend to then start to hit the credit cards for those debts rather than pay cash for them because they've already spent the money elsewhere. And that's really where people get into trouble. The second way people get into trouble from a debt perspective is they accept credit that's offered when they really shouldn't. And not to pick on any students, but I counseled a student recently where a consumer electronics company had extended them $10,000 in credit to buy gear. And I said, what did you do? And you know what the answer is going to be. They bought $10,000 worth of, in this case, audio gear. So the student's question to me, quite obviously, is, well, Ron, what can I do about that? So my immediate response is, well, we can hop in our time machine. We can go backwards and undo that. And that doesn't work that way. So the honest answer and the painful answer to the question is, having a huge mountain of debt, as I explained to students, faculty, whomever, is just like eating an elephant. The first thing we need to do is realize how enormous this undertaking is going to be. And then we want to de-stress a little bit by saying, yeah, you can eat that elephant, but only if we take it just one little bite at a time. And then what it's going to require is some discipline, making some tough decisions, no easy fixes, and over a fairly long period of time, we're going to fight our way out of this. And the way we're going to do it to start is, like they say, when you're finding yourself digging yourself in a hole, the very first thing you do is stop digging. So just like physicians say, first do no harm, we don't want to add to the debt. We want to stop taking on additional debt, look ourselves in the face and say, wow, we have a huge problem here. Now let's sit down together and decide how are we going to bite this off. And the way we do that, logically, is by looking at the highest interest rate debt first. And we want to attack that by paying that off. In terms of how we pay off debt, let me give you a quick example and you'll see how quickly this thing can be cured if we have enough discipline. If I had arguably a $1,000 credit card bill, and that credit card bill is at an 18% interest rate, which unfortunately tends to be the interest rate on a lot of credit cards these days, some higher, some lower. If I only paid the minimum on that card, which obviously the credit card company doesn't want me to pay it off quickly because I'm giving them an 18% return on their money while a bank is paying me 1 or 2% interest on my savings. So if I paid the minimum, it's going to take me between 6 and 7 years to pay off that $1,000. If I could simply establish an amount below which I'm not willing to go and always make that payment, regardless of what they say, I can shorten that to 5 years, 4 years. If I'm willing to make a payment of $40, let's say, instead of the $20 the bill may say, then I can shorten that to 2.5 years. Just by having the discipline to come up with that $40 rather than sending in the 20 that they asked me for. Do they want me to send in 40? Not in a million years. They want me to send in the minimum payment so they can get their 18% forever. Think about it. As a student or as anybody in finance, do you know where you can get a guaranteed 18% return on your money? Well, I do, and unfortunately, I'm looking at them, because that's exactly how the credit card companies see us.